Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. Big shout out to regular listeners, big shout out to the subscribers, the reviewers that send us a little like on YouTube, and a big wink to all the ladies and a big kiss when we see you. I'm here with Jake Farrell.
I think if we smash cut to 2 years from now, the podcast will just be the intro. And then we'll go, thanks very much for listening. It'll be 20 minutes long. It'll be you thanking every one of our listeners by name, and then it will just finish, and that'll be that. That's actually the dream for me. I don't even need to be here necessarily for that.
I tell you what, I have to... I don't want to talk about the podcast as if we're fucking off menu, because it's still a very small, growing, culty little thing.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot
I don't think anyone's accusing us of being off menu.
No. But what I'm starting to get a bit used to the idea of is we are a bit more... People do listen now. Mates of mine listen. They hear what I say about them. And I'm worried that the people from the school listen.
Yes.
Oh man, I've had a thing with the school. God, that sounds bad. I've told you some of my trials and tribulations I have with my daughter's school. Trying to make friends with the other parents.
Yeah. You're doing your best.
I'm doing my best. I mean, the whole thing with Campbell wasn't great. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, no.
Oh God. So I'm down the park with my little girl. She's playing with these other kids, and they're all with this man. And I recognise the man. I'm like, do I know you, mate? And he's like, don't know. And I basically worked out, I was like, I recognise you from Arsenal. Do you remember this? He works at Arsenal. He does kind of event stuff at Arsenal. And I recognised him from the stadium. And then he was just in the park with all these kids. I was like, oh, mate, are these all yours? And he's like, no, basically I've been, I lost, I think I'm going to lose the job with Arsenal. So I'm doing childminding now. And I have to say, one thing that happens when you have children, I always have had, but so much respect for anyone that works with kids, because it's so hard. Any people who, childminders, who look after them, teachers, yeah, massively. I mean, still do get a lot of holidays, but childminders don't. But anyway, so I was just chatting to him about that phrase. I was like, oh yeah, sick, blah blah blah. And we were chatting phrases, and I sort of, we got on well enough. We talked about Arsenal. I was like, mate, I don't always get on with the dads, but me and you, and he was like, mate, you and I are on the same level. We were on exactly the same level. And then it was only near the end of the conversation.
Alarm. Anyone that says that, we're not on the same level.
It was only near the end of the conversation. I was like, what's happened with the job at Arsenal? He was getting sacked because he had a punch up with a 17-year-old. Yeah. And this guy's in his 40s.
You and I are exactly alike.
We just got something in common, haven't we? Just think the same, me and you.
I'm an arms dealer with Russia.
Would you mind taking the kids into the school for me? I'm not allowed near it because I keep whacking up the kids. Anyway, but no, I try and get on with it. But then there's someone. There's a lady whose kid goes to school, and she's on the PTA, and she watches all my stuff on Instagram and replies to stuff. And then she was like, "Would you donate some of your tour tickets to the school's fundraiser so people enter a raffle to win stuff, and your tickets are one of the prizes?" And, you don't want to say no, but then I didn't think about the fact that she would then get the picture of my tour poster, and it would go in all the WhatsApp groups.
Oh no!
And so now everyone is like, "Oh, we didn't know that's what you do." Right? And you get a mix. Some of them have actually seen some of my Instagram stuff and hadn't put two and two together, and they're like, "Oh, you're the guy who's done an Instagram reel about how much you hate kids' birthday parties. Well, we'll make sure we invite you to Casper's next week." And I'm like, "Yeah." But then there's some who just don't get it.
She outed you. She completely outed you.
Yeah, she did. And but there's some who don't get it at all. And I completely understand this. I say this to other comedians all the time. It's like, what we do is so pathetic. There's no.
It's as bad as it gets.
In our minds, there's a whole industry of comedy, and it's like, oh, you're doing well if you've got some followers on Instagram, or if you've done telly or blah blah. You're doing well. But the average person on the street has heard of two comedians.
Yes.
Michael McIntyre and that new guy called Ramesh Ranganathan. Do you know what I mean? They're the only ones they've heard of. Yeah. So in the same way as if I meet someone who's quote unquote an actor and they're not Tom Cruise, I think they're just doing amateur dramatics. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same when I'd say to someone, oh mate, the conversation that, I don't know if you've ever had this when you've told someone you do stand up, like, People have that kind of tone of like, good for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And you can see them sort of looking at my kids being like, who's paying for their clothes?
Yeah. You're a juggler. Yeah, well done.
Exactly. And they'll say, the one that always gets me, they're like, have you got a gig coming up? And it's just like, you don't want to be a prick and be like, I do 5 gigs a week actually. So you just go, yeah, I've got. Yeah. And they always say the same thing, they're like, we'll try to come. Yeah. And it's like this proper sympathy thing.
And it's like, yeah, that is the revenue model actually for comedians, is we do gigs in exchange for money.
Yeah. But you don't want to be a prick and be like, how do you think I afford to raise children? How do you think I pay rent and run a car? And like, of course I do it a lot. How else would it happen? But also, like, you have to accept that, like, of course people aren't aware of the economy behind it all, and of course,
yeah, it's quite an opaque system.
In the same way as if like I met one of the parents and they were like, I'm a singer, I'd be like, well, you're not, because I've not heard of you.
Yeah.
So I'd assume.
Are you Dua Lipa? You don't look like Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa.
That's enough.
Dua Lipa. Do I? I do. No, I don't know what she looks like. I'd say that's a quick one. Thoughts on Glastonbury?
Horrible festival full of crusties and Corbyn fans.
Would you not want to go?
Should be shut down.
Would you not want to go?
No, I couldn't do it.
Would you not?
We discussed this, I think, a while back. We spoke about it costing like $2,000 to go, and we got quite a few comments on YouTube being like, it doesn't cost anywhere near that much.
No, but it does if you want to have a good time.
Well, I think that's what they were accusing you of on the YouTube comments.
My mate Mo went, and he paid 600 quid to get in, and that was being sneaked in a bin.
He paid 600 quid to be sneaked to. He's kind of living the whole festival looking over his shoulder in case someone goes, "Where's your wristband?"
Once he got in, I'm fucking just grassing him up now.
Yeah, we are recording this. Don't say any more than that. Mo paid for his ticket. He's a law-abiding citizen,
But if
and he
he
had a great
didn't,
time.
then what he did was he got in a bin, and he just got, like, because you can just take the wristbands off.
Right.
So someone just took a wristband off and gave him a wristband, and he was like, no one really checked. He was fine.
People are ecstatic about Glastonbury in a way that I am very suspicious of.
I think it would be good. I have to say, I'm
Your turn in.
I'd say I'm 40%. Yeah, I'd like to go. I'd like to do it once. I think I'd like to perform. I'd like to perform.
They do comedy.
Yeah. Well, there's a few different bits. There's some people did some stuff with a guy called Danny Brown. Horatio did that. I don't know who Danny Brown is or what. Not the rapper.
Not the rapper.
No.
Oh, right. I was going to say. Horatio Gould did a gig with Danny Brown.
No, someone else called Danny Brown, I think. I don't really know. But then there's a Greenpeace stage that had all the fucking trust fund kids from comedy on it, and it's like, no, I don't want to do
thanks.
that.
I think that the worst part about Glastonbury is the like very lame centrist flags that everyone, they bring the flags and people they make their own flags, and it will have like the picture of the guy from
Big John was on
lots of Big
loads.
Johns.
Yeah.
Dine with me, and it'll be like, what a sad little life, Jane.
Right.
It's like,
it's the worst humour in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the worst humour in the world, and you've gone out of your way. I had to get a flag printed for a comedy thing for a show, which is even lamer. It takes quite a lot of time, energy, and money to get that flag
100
printed.
quid.
If you're doing that to carry that around and like just to have that in the air while Shania Twain's on, you should be sent to prison.
That is so funny, is it? Actually, I hadn't thought about that. But like, imagine like the face on the people carrying the flag. Imagine you spot a flag that would be like, do you know what would be like a classic one? Who was that woman who left a Zoom call? Or who did it? Do you remember there was a couple of years ago there was like a parish town Zoom call?
Exactly, Jackie Weaver.
Yeah. What's the quote? Is like, you have no authority.
Jackie Weaver.
That's the exact kind of humour that would end up on one of those flags. Isn't it? You can imagine a flag that's like her face and like, you have no authority here, Jackie Weaver. And you could just imagine some fucking smug twat just holding it and trying to make eye contact with everyone, trying to be like...
Yeah, while LCD sound system are on.
Have you seen Jackie Weaver?
Jackie Weaver is one of my favourite people.
What a sad little life, Jane. Have you seen that episode?
Big John, Bush.
Only 250 quid about that.
So it cost me £600 for my ticket, came in a bin. It cost me £200 for my Jackie Weaver flag.
I said $2,000 assuming that you would do the flag.
The Jackie Weaver flags. Me and my friend Hen have this thing about like Jackie Weaver, like because it was that kind of awful thing where
Love Hen, shout out Hen.
Twitter blue tick, shout out Hen. And I hope they don't mind me sharing this because we talk about Jackie Weaver quite frequently. But like the kind of Twitter blue ticks, like, oh, Jackie Weaver or whatever. And she do you know she did a series of podcasts where she interviewed comedians.
Yeah.
And I remember they released a press release about Jackie Weaver's podcast, and it said, "You Have No Authority" is the new podcast from Jackie Weaver, the viral celebrity who's here to stay. It's just like, what wishful thinking to be like, she's going to be famous 5 years from now. Just amazing. She lasted about 14 minutes. Like, oh my
I remember,
God.
do you know there's that page that's like Getty images from British history?
Yeah,
do you know what I'm talking about on
yeah.
Twitter? There was one of those of like her from like 2021 at like some fucking film premiere. I'd love to have been in the room when she had to go back on her knees begging for a job back at the council.
Oh, the podcast is not still going, is it, Jackie?
Oh, what? Rosie Jones said no to series 2, did she? Right, let's get an episode in.
Romesh isn't returning your calls anymore, Jackie.
Let's get an episode in.
God, shots fired at Jackie Weaver, that poor lady, after all she's been through.
Fuck her. She never had.
You have no authority here, Jackie Weaver. If someone brings a Jackie Weaver flag to the live show, that would be the best day of my life. Just us at the Bill Murray with a huge Jackie Weaver
I need
flag.
to sort out the afters for the live show.
Don't worry about that.
I need to remember. Right, let's get into this. So this week we're talking about someone who's huge.
Huge.
And I think this is something that this is something we need to do a bit more of. To be perfectly honest with you, we got a comment on a video, the YouTube video of Fish 56 Octagon, and it's some fucking prick being like, "You guys are just bullies." It's like, we're not fucking bullies. We're
Just
just
called someone a fucking prick.
Yeah, it's like
The guy.
I don't care. Never back down, never apologise. That's what Trump
The
says.
Trump motto.
That is the Trump motto. But the Fish 56 Octagon, he's got like hundreds of thousands of followers. He's playing Glastonbury.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares about our podcast that gets 300 views on YouTube.
He's not fussed.
But there are times we talk about people who've got less followers than that, and I do feel a bit like, Cooge,
Meals by
he's
Cooge.
bulletproof.
Yeah, Meals by
Oh
Cooge.
shit, I'm not giving it away who is.
That's fine, that's fine.
This week, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a food content creator, huge in America, huge here. We're talking about Meals by Cooge.
Forget about it.
Oi, get on this.
Please.
Cooge. Meals by Cooge.
Meals by
The
Cooge.
Cooge.
The Cooge.
The Couginator.
It's a big Cooge.
Big Cooge.
Cougine.
Cooge. Big Cooge is a Sopranos character who would have been friends with Chrissy in season 1.
Yeah.
Tony would have absolutely fucking hated him.
Yeah.
He would have farted on Big Puss's leg or something
Yeah,
like that,
right.
and they would have shot him 1,000 times to the point that you would not have recognised his corpse.
Yeah.
It's a big Meals by Cooge. If you haven't heard of Meals by Cooge, Cooge is a food content creator from New York. New York? Is that,
New York, yeah.
It's not like Boston or anything
No,
like that.
no, he's New York.
Yeah, he's New York. He's New York. He sounds very New Jersey. He's clearly of Italian heritage.
Yep.
He's in his mid-20s.
No, he's not. Oh my God.
He's 26.
No, he's not. I mean, he eats a lot of meat. We're about to see what he does.
Eats a lot. So this guy's thing, we've done the food content creators before. This guy, he reviews food sometimes, he cooks food sometimes.
Bit of all of the above.
The thing where Cooge has really put the effort in, because the food doesn't look great.
No.
He doesn't look great. He hasn't made much effort. This is not glossy stuff. This isn't impressive stuff like El Burrito Monster. Shout out, Ollie. Cooge puts his effort into the voiceover and to the writing of the voiceover.
Yeah.
And as someone who makes Instagram content where I put a bit of effort into the things I say, Cooge is fucking disgusting.
What the yeah, he's
things he says.
He will say anything. He's very open, isn't he?
That's the thing. He will say anything.
He's very endearingly honest, I think.
Yeah. Now I don't want to make this too inside baseball, right? But I do these daft little Instagram videos, and the way I think of them is I think of myself as writing stand-up comedy. Sometimes about football, sometimes about other stuff. And I perform it down the camera. Now, I do feel a certain pressure to write and perform them as often as I can to build followers, to sell tour tickets.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way stand-up comedy works at the moment. And there are times when you write something, you go, oh, that's not great. I'm just going to say it anyway because I need to get something out. The stuff he comes out with, you would have to hold a gun to my head to make me say most of it.
To reveal it about yourself, yeah.
No, but just like, it's not even the stuff he reveals about himself. It's like just the way he phrases things. He's got like this kind of 19-year-old student, Wikipedia 2009 sense of humour.
Yeah.
He's constantly making jokes about veganism. Every time he puts a bit of salad or lettuce in anything and goes, practically vegan. and the humour is so kind of gross.
Yes.
And the language he uses is
quite
so
gross out,
so fucking... I think I'm describing him correctly.
And I think that with a lot of this, a number of the people we've talked about before, the hilarity or the interest often comes from the disparity between what they look like and what they say, right? So there's like, in that he kind of talks like a gangster, but he's this tiny little guy, and he's quite very self-deprecating about how he looks, which was really endearing as well.
Yeah.
And also because he's like this larger-than-life character, like Italian-American subculture in America, I don't think there's many people left like Cooge.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. Yeah.
We talked about the moosh being like Paulie Walnuts, but like Paulie Walnuts would look at Cooge and be like, just tone it down.
This is a very Sopranos morning, actually.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And I don't doubt he's hamming it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he feels like a character. I think that's where like the people we talk about are best when they feel like a character.
Yes.
Davis Clark is a character.
Oh my God.
Like the mush is a character.
Yes.
More rounded than you might expect. The mush. Sometimes you wish he was more two-dimensional. But Cooge is a character.
Yeah.
Cooge is, and I think this is what social media is for. The people that we've maybe criticised on here in the past just aren't good characters.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Or they're not authentically themselves. They're trying to be a character that they're not. That's
But
why
you can
Davis
see
Clark
the cracks.
right.
You can-
And that's why
yeah.
Cooge. And by the way, we didn't do this on purpose, but like Cooge is an Instagram star who's here to stay, unlike Jackie Weaver. Because
Unlike Jackie Weaver,
Jose,
yeah.
my friend Jose Jr. writes the brilliant song that is the soundtrack to this podcast.
Yeah.
He told me about Cooge like 5 or 6 years ago. He's like, I think he was living in New York at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, you've got to watch this guy. He's hilarious. He's like, he makes does all these catchphrases and stuff. And like, Cooge is still about.
Yeah.
And he's still killing it.
Because the characters still work.
Exactly.
And it's like even I'm thinking about a couple that we've done recently that we've not been so keen on. And by the way, shout out the spreadsheet lads. When we say that, we're referring to a group of listeners who created a spreadsheet about the podcast. You were right what you said the other day. They have stopped doing it.
Okay, right. I haven't checked in a while.
These are for new listeners. These are a group of lads who made a spreadsheet about the podcast where they rank how much we hate the people we're talking about, and they haven't actually filled in the podcast in a few episodes. And I initially I was upset by that, and now I think that's probably a good thing for their mental health.
It's a real Goodwill Hunting scenario where it's like we go out, every time I look at the spreadsheet, the moment I want them to stop updating it. That's a good sign.
Yeah,
They've gone to see about a girl.
But I've had that in my mind, the spreadsheet over the last couple of episodes. I'm like, there's a lot of people we've shat on. We didn't like the Schooner Scorer.
No.
But
who does?
Because it's a bad character.
Bad character.
It's a bad character.
Craven.
The traits aren't there. You don't believe it. You don't feel like
not
he
endearing.
believes it.
No.
It's not endearing. The Andrew Goodwin, is that the Britpop?
the Britpop guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's a bad character. It feels unauthentic. It feels false. It's not. There's no longevity in it. Whereas Mush, that's a character.
Mush is truly himself.
Mush. Yeah, I mean,
is Mush the most mentally
too
healthy?
Much, really,
yeah, Mush is too much himself.
Too much, really. If anything, he needs.
Is the battle of the human condition not to be truly yourself, to be authentically yourself? We present these versions of ourselves every day, but you're most yourself when you're with your loved ones, and that's what Cooge is. Cooge is unapologetically.
No other podcast in the UK could talk about the battle of the human condition whilst talking about a man called Meals by Cooge who makes videos where he talks about making meatballs that are the same size as Michelle Obama's balls. The battle of the human condition.
Should we watch the first one?
Yeah, let's get into Cooge.
I
let's
reckon
watch a bit of
a lot of
Cooge.
people have had a bit of Cooge in their lives already. But if you haven't,
Think of the script. Think what does the Google Doc of this look like? Because it's fucking her. Anyone else would write this and go, I'm not saying that on the internet, but this.
And by the way, we say a lot of stuff on the internet every week. And if we're saying that, how bad is this?
We're making balls bigger than Michelle Obama's.
Makes no
Parsley
sense.
And garlic, basically vegan. Bread from the bread museum and a little cow cum.
Cow
Balls are going to be as
cum.
moist as a frog's ass. Make
Moist
it
as a
smell like
frog's
Whitney
ass.
Houston's bathroom. Now
Bathroom?
Give it a massage. Turn over, please. Straight garvone stuff in the meatballs with mozzarella. Bellissima. So much oil, George Bush had better invade me.
That's good.
I got more balls than Rosa Parks on a bus. Blood type is
More
right.
balls than Rosa Parks on a bus.
What's so fresh will curse at you? Hey, somebody, she was so naughty, man. Michelangelo couldn't shine my shoes. Breathing heavy, didn't even eat it yet. Let's go. It's so hot.
The dance.
Michelangelo couldn't shine my shoes. Fuck
it
off,
good?
Jackie Weaver.
Is
If
it
you had
good?
some, if you had some fucking creativity, Jackie Weaver, you'd still be
If
about.
you had lines like that, I'm making balls bigger than Michelle Obama.
What's funny there is so. Well, actually, that's a bit worrying.
Is that a reference reference to something.
That's a bit
missed.
worrying because that is a reference to the alt-right conspiracy theory that Michelle Obama is a man.
Oh, fucking hell.
But then Cooge is like an equal opportunity. He's like a roast comic. He's having a go at George Bush later in the piece.
He's apolitical. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll say anything. Pour on some calcum. Oh, shut the fuck up, man.
And that is bad. And that's very What Willie Cooks, who we were very on the record about. Like,
but yeah,
jism from a bee.
Yeah,
Shut up.
I know. But I guess what Willie Cooks is trying to be kind of.
Well, he stole Peter Serafin's character. You were very upset about it.
Yeah. But it's kind of whimsy, isn't it? It's kind of like it's being a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas
Devonshire.
Yeah, I almost have more respect for Cooge because it's just fucking disgusting.
He is like a teenage boy. He's like, I mean, that's funny that he's mid-20s because he looks like he's
He
like
looks 40.
He looks 40.
But he speaks like a 16-year-old.
Yeah, and he does like that. I think.
What's the Rosa Parks line? That went straight over my head.
That was like bravery. He was using the term balls. You know, like on the Sopranos where they say you got some fucking balls. Like you got some like chutzpah. You got some.
It's all over the fucking place. 1 minute he's doing alt-right conspiracies that Michelle Obama's a man. The next he's commending the courage of Rosa Parks. Who the fuck is writing this for him?
It just maybe that's the algorithmic secret is you just got to be a broad church. You get everyone. You got to get everyone.
You get the civil rights movement and the alt-right movement in
and
the
it's
same
not really
30-second
it's not really
meatball.
much about the cooking, is it? Because you can't like you say you can't really follow the recipe. You don't.
You can't follow the. It's. Do you know what it almost reminds me a bit of Bevo in every episode.
Everything comes back to Bevo.
But it's in the sense that like so much of Bevo is food content.
Yes.
But again, there's no. Like every fucking meal is 7 out of 10 to him.
Yes.
He doesn't tell you how he's made it. It's not like the food review club guy who we should do soon, by the way.
Yes.
Who you get an in-depth review of the food.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea whether Cooge liked that meal or not. He burnt his mouth on it, then did this weird little shimmy dance. You don't know how he made it. I mean, he kind of shows you, but he's too busy talking about cow cum to tell you what to do. But it's the food is just a vehicle for the character.
Yes, right. That's the more important thing.
You could imagine him doing one where he builds a shed. Do you know what I mean? He's like, nails harder than fucking Jesus on the crucifix. Do you know what I mean? Or like, do you know what I mean? You can imagine him doing that, you know.
Do you know what they say?
Smashing it with a hammer like a fucking...
Is that a testament to like, they say like, oh, someone's so charismatic or someone's so interesting, I'd watch them do anything.
Yeah.
You'd watch
people
Cooge
say that
do
about
anything.
comedians. They'd be like, I'd watch him read the Yellow Pages.
Yeah, right.
You would watch him read the Yellow Pages because of the shit he'd come out with.
That's really funny.
Yeah, plumbers that could do a job on my ass. Should we watch the next one?
Yeah, let's watch the next one. I think
we've got a few clips of
look
this
out
guy.
for the. I think what I'd say is look out for the fit in this one because we talked about it before. He's a bit of a Sopranos kind of auxiliary character, and the kind of tracksuit bottoms tucked in vest is.
He's playing up to it.
Yeah, he loves it, and this is him. I think what's he doing? He's doing a bit of cooking here, and he's tossing some peppers.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
So he's
let people hear it.
Daddy's home. Jesus Christ. I gotta get a life. A job.
And a job.
So
What he's doing
the
there,
joke there.
the joke there. I mean, like, when you're emulsifying the pasta water and the oil in your pan whilst cooking pasta, you flip the pasta a bit. He's doing it to make a noise that sounds like sexual intercourse. And whilst making that noise with the pan, he's got his arm behind his little head. He's wearing a vest and he's almost thrusting his hips. And then at the end, he says, "Daddy's home." It's fucking rank.
I'm going to wake up in a cold sweat with that as my image. Like, seeing Cooge at the foot of your bed. Daddy's home.
That's a bad trip on the mushroom chocolates, isn't it?
That's when you know you've had too much electro bong when Cooge wanders into
I'm
the
laying
room.
there and I can just see Cooge at the end of my bed.
Daddy's home.
I need some more Parmesan. Yeah. I mean, yeah, look, and the next clip I want to say, he's successful. And
mega.
And again, I think it leads into the point you made at the start, which is like, it's not about the food. It's not about what you can cook, how good you are at cooking.
Right.
It's the character.
Yes.
It's all about the character. And his character is so successful that he's reached the apex of what... I don't know why. Every food content creator wants to make a video with Gordon Ramsay. I
Chef
don't
Ramsay.
know why. What's his name? Nigel Ng.
Yes.
Uncle Roger.
Yeah.
That seemed to be the end goal of that from the beginning, is that he wanted to get Gordon Ramsay on board.
Ramsay, yeah.
Nasty, who we spoke about,
He's trying to get in
Spice Bags.
Yeah.
I think he ended up getting Ramsay.
Did he?
Ramsay did a TikTok about one of Nasty's TikToks where he was making the sandwich in the horrible sandwich. Anyway.
Yeah. And I think just before we do this, so Coot made a video with Gordon Ramsay, who is, by the way, the most character of all characters. He was the character before.
Great spot.
Before all of this, and they've kind of followed him in a way. But Ramsay's really good at like dealing. So he's massive on TikTok because he does those videos where he kind of roasts people's cooking technique. Yeah. But he has also like not thought that he's above the people on TikTok, if you know what I mean.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head there, which is that he's probably spotted that they're just doing what he did, which is realised that it's less about the food and more about the character.
Right.
Because what Ramsay's really done over the last 15 years in terms of moving to America is he's lent into the character.
Yes.
The Americans want
Botox.
a shouty Englishman.
Yes.
And Botox. Americans want a shouty Englishman to call them idiots.
Yes.
Right? And he knows that, so that's what he gives them. And in the same way, Coot, it's not about how nice the meatballs are, Coot. It's say something disgusting about cow. So I think there's a mutual respect there. Ramsay going...
Game recognised game.
Game recognised game. Yeah, lean into the character. Who gives a fuck about the food? And let's say some funny shit. And this is funny. This is funny.
Take care, let me cut your hair. Sit down. Let's see what we can do. Sit down.
So he's got Coot, and he's going to cut his hair.
26. You can't have grey hair at 26. What do you mean? Why not?
Put a bowl on his head. They're like kids.
Yeah.
It's like watching two toddlers.
This could be CBeebies, this.
No, there you go.
Coot literally just said, whack me over the head with that as he picked up
Tom
a
and
saucepan.
Jerry.
Let's go. There we go.
It's all so fast, guys.
Yeah.
It's so TikTok.
There you go.
He's now putting a gown around him.
Cutting
and
someone's hair in an industrial kitchen. Not ideal, I don't think.
Ramsay's got the scissors. He's cutting Coot's hair.
This is nuts.
Hey, Stunner, come on.
I'm getting take care, cut your hair by the man himself, Mr. Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, let go of that now.
That was Coot's number one catchphrase.
Let's spin that around. Do the left-hand side as well now. Beautiful locks, by the way.
Oh, beautiful.
He's giving him an absolutely insane haircut.
Now he's just whacking like 3 inches off his hair.
Good now.
Don't touch
One
his
more little
ring.
grey bit down here. Stop moving that pan. And take it off.
Taking the saucepan off his head.
There you go, man.
Slapping his cheeks.
Hey, and that's on the house, by the way. Take care. Let me cut your hair.
But you can feel the kind of febrile...
Oh, he did a number on my hair, huh? Gordon, you should shift from being a chef to a hairdresser. 10 out of 5 mine owns every day.
There's like a febrile energy around that.
Yeah.
They're so excited about doing this together. And by the way, we should say, they've not just bumped into each other in a restaurant
probably
and
had to
gone,
fly to Vegas.
what would be funny? I'll cut your hair. There would have been weeks worth of meetings between PR agencies and management companies.
Yeah.
So what's a funny thing that Coot could do with Gordon? And there would have been calls to Gordon being like, would you be comfortable touching him?
There's people's jobs are to have Zoom calls about the content of that thing.
But then they get in the room and they're so excited and happy to be filming that. They've got the energy of like a T4 presenter gifting a fucking holiday to a sick child. They're so excited about what they're doing on camera. It's amazing. And it's we make the comparison between like TV and social media quite a lot on this show. And it's like no one's ever that excited.
Do you think
on
that's
TV.
the energy you need to make it? Because I remember you telling a really good story about where a friend of yours had been filming with Gary Neville in like a flat block in North London.
It was in Highbury. It was in
and
Highbury
he was
House,
kind of relentlessly producing the segment where he was like, if we stop everyone coming in that door, I'll get you some tickets to the Arsenal. Tickets, that's done. And it's just that kind of manic, do this, do that.
Yeah,
and it's just just pointing the camera at me and then it'll all be all right.
That's it. And again, though, to compare to Gary Neville, so what you're talking about is there was a short segment on Sky where a guy that I know who's another Arsenal podcaster was invited by Sky to talk to Neville and Carragher, and they filmed it in Highbury House.
Yeah.
And he said it was like... It was like they'd been let out of a zoo when Neville and Carragher turned up, because they literally ran onto the set. They're like pushing and nudging each other as they come, and Carragher kept saying, "Listen to this maniac! Look at this maniac!" To Neville, and Neville was trying to direct the shoot,
right?
And was like, "What's that in the background there? Can we maybe move that? Let's change that, blah blah blah." And come out to the podcast and feeling their arms and be like, "How you doing? You feeling good today? Feeling good? We're gonna have a great chat. Don't worry about this. I think you could win the league, but you maybe I don't." And he said it was like two ADHD children just running around, and they had to route them to the spot to get them to speak for 2 minutes and then let them run again. But that is the energy of people now. It's like everyone in the media has realised it's it's TikTok energy
Yeah.
that sells.
It's just become part of
You
everything.
have to be huge.
Yes.
And Coot is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's let's watch the next clip. I mean, the reason, so I've ordered these clips in a specific order. And
For a second, I was like, what, did he order them off some kind of service?
Oh,
Get me clips
God,
of
can you
Cooge.
imagine? I think initially when I watched Cooge, I was like, "You're fucking disgusting," and I was like, actually, my taste doesn't match with you. You're a bit too rank for me.
Right.
Cow cum,
We
practically
are. I think both of us quite like prudish about stuff like that, aren't we?
Fuck, I'm a 32-year-old father. Like, I don't want to hear some disgusting fucking bloke.
If you were sat on this bench going,
snivelling-
"Cow come," really
yeah,
worried.
Right. It's fucking, I've got to talk to the dads at the school gate. They're not laughing at cow cum. They're not making podcasts
Let's
about
hope they don't come and watch you stand up.
but I have to say it's grown on me, and I respect the character. I respect how good it is. And with Ramsay, it's what they're doing there is basically improv.
Yeah.
And he's yes-anding him. Do you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, cut my hair. I give you 10 maroons out of 5.
I do wonder, like, in terms of the yes and, if Gordon was like, "Oh, I've cut your hair. Now why don't you suck my dick?" Could you be like, "You what? Yeah, why don't you do that?"
Spit or swallow, Mr. Ramsay.
Yeah, I don't think Coot should go for it.
But what you mentioned earlier, he is self-deprecating. He's aware of the character, and I think the key to it, like, so many people who do comedy, and broadly speaking, Cooge does comedy.
Yes.
Right? He's a funny Instagram guy.
Better than most comedians.
So much of being good at it is you have to be egoless, and you can't be sexy and funny at the same time.
It's not possible.
And that's something that I think so many comedians get wrong. They try and be, because it's so hard.
Attractive
It's
in
so
some
hard
way.
when people are looking at you to not want to be attractive.
Either physically or in some kind of, like, I'm cool or I'm clever or
Exactly.
I'm
It's
interesting,
so hard. And I've spoken with so many comedians who've been going for a very long time, and it's one thing they say. They're like, you can't be attractive and funny. You have to be a bit of a joke. And it's so many comedians who get really big but go shit because they get the teeth done, they start wearing expensive clothes.
Yeah.
Their only stories are about getting on flights.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're just a movie star now. You're not funny.
And even worse than that, like, Jimmy Carr is like the worst man on earth. Like, what, the most awful man. And he's doing stand-up where he's like, I don't know, calling kids with learning difficulties slurs, and then going on the Diary of the CEO podcast and being like, just be nice to everyone. And it's like, you're a fucking Botoxed freak.
I can't slag him off because he's been very nice to me in the
Oh,
podcast. Sorry. He when I did the Russell Howard Hour in 2022, he was on the same show plugging his book,
Right.
and he was fucking lovely to me.
Was he?
Yeah. But I mean, they're not filming Cat Stars Countdown anymore. They haven't got enough money at Channel 4, so I might as well slag him off. So can't get anything out of that anymore. But
If you are watching, Jimmy, I fucking hate you. No,
but I know what you mean, though. But yeah, I just respect Cooge leans into
the character.
and these next couple of clips are
He's
him acknowledging
self-deprecating.
his appearance.
Now,
Now, should we just pause? Hang on, let's just. Do you mind if I just roll
Just
that
go
back?
back, yeah, go
So I
back,
know
that's
it's annoying for the edit. So the start of this video is a screenshot or a photograph of someone who has a very weak jawline and chin.
Yes.
Is that fair?
I think
thing
that's fair to say, yeah.
And the caption is, "Thank God I wasn't born with this type of chin." Cut to Cooge, who very much has that type of chin. He doesn't have a chin.
He's in profile.
Win some, lose most. Haven't won any.
Win
This kind of
some,
lovable loser
lose
persona.
most, I haven't won any.
And I love a lovable loser as well.
Yeah.
And I do worry with Cooge sometimes because he is so self-deprecating. I wonder if he goes slightly too far because I think he's clearly a very clever and funny
Worried about
man.
Cooge. Worried about Cooge.
go
Check in
to
on
my
Cooge
wife.
as we check in on
What am I worried about? Climate change? No, I'm worried about Cooge.
Cooge's self-esteem.
Worried about Cooge's self-esteem. And and that was a big topic in comedy, wasn't it? Self-deprecation, because, well, I say comedy, but Hannah Gadsby did a show about that. The Nanette show was about.
Go on, explain that.
So Hannah Gadsby did the show where She was
Australian comic.
And she did a show called Nanette that was kind of a bit of a polarizing thing on like Netflix and stuff. It was huge. It won an awards. It was massive. She's incredibly successful. And a lot of that show was about how like women and female comics self-deprecate in order, like that's the kind of language that they use to. And she was saying like, I'm not going to do that anymore. There was also a story of her being like assaulted by someone who punched her that was woven into that, which was really horrible as well. But then, and she was kind of linking the two things together. And
this was a stand-up comedy show. Sounds hilarious.
That was a piece of stand-up comedy that you could see at the Edinburgh Comedy Festival.
And on the comedy section of Netflix.
And in the comedy section of Netflix. And it became a hot topic for a while about... And Coot is is self-deprecating like Nanette. Oh, she's not called Nanette, is she? She's called Hannah Gadsby. Like the show Nanette. And do you worry he's too self-deprecating?
Again, it's the framework of his status. Like,
right.
I think he's minted.
Yeah.
He's got like what 4 or 5 million followers.
Yes,
Coot
is huge. We've said
Coot is huge. Like Coot will be at a point where he can afford to buy a really nice place to live,
yes.
but he will be deliberately choosing to still live in that shithole kitchen because it's the aesthetic.
It's a bit of the hub's life paradox.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he will have like PR advisors being like, don't buy new clothes, keep wearing the dirty vest. Tucked
I want to
into
actually cut my hair.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. It's hard to survive a glow up. It is. It is hard to survive a glow. Look at Ahmed Yacoub.
Yes.
Right? But the Ahmed Yacoub thing kind of leans into it because rather than being a character you laugh at, Ahmed Yacoub is supposed to be a kind of aspirational character.
Yeah.
So, we have a listener, Ollie, El Burrito Monster. He's had a glow up.
Oh, the Burrito Monster looks unbelievable.
And the runs he goes on.
He looks like a male model.
He goes on these holidays and he'll just like smash out a 10K at the start of a holiday.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I mean, not many male models make roast dinner burritos in their spare time, but this one does.
That is then wrapped in beef Wellington and then turned into a Scotch egg and then cut in half with a samurai sword for a quick scran.
And then fashioned into the shape of Gareth Southgate's head.
But Coot hasn't done the glow up yet.
No.
I do want. It would break my fucking heart. It would break my fucking heart if the way he looks. I mean, again, if there's no one watching. I'm someone with a bit of a beak myself. He's got a nice size.
We've both got a bit conks on us, yeah.
Oh, you haven't got a fucking conk. I've got a serious conk. Coot's just got a proper fucking beak on him. He's got a big old conk. He's got a big nose. He's got the droopy, silly hair, and he hasn't got a chin.
And he's got the goatee, the Brent goatee to hide the chin.
Because he hasn't got a proper. He can't grow a proper beard, so he's got a little goatee. If he did a glow up, if he had what's it called, rhinoplasty? Right? That's when you have a nose job, isn't it? If he had a nose job, if he got like a designer beard and a skin fade, it's dead.
Yeah.
It's over.
But I mean, maybe we could move on to not the next one, but the one after, because the one after
Sure.
shows him when he is actually talking of self-deprecating, where he's actually scarily competent in a way that you wouldn't imagine.
So this is Coot playing basketball.
So this is him, and he's got like a mixtape of him playing basketball.
And he's fucking he receives the ball there, dribbling with it, sells one guy, does another.
Cross layup, bang.
Ready to shit my pants at half
So
court.
good.
But, mate, watching him play basketball, like when you see like a hippopotamus go underwater and it's so graceful when it swims? That's like watching him play basketball. It's like you just put him on a basketball court and he's like a dancer.
I've never ran as much in years.
He's absolutely toasting people as well.
With myself.
Am I playing? Yeah, with myself.
It's
It's
so
like,
good.
You almost want to say to him, you almost want to be like, mate, just shut the fuck up for 2 minutes.
Do you know what? I sometimes feel like that about people I work with as well.
You feel like saying, you could be an attractive guy, you could be a cool guy, you're good at basketball. If you just stop saying those fucking horrible things about shitting yourself or about how you're wanking, just shut the fuck up, Coach. Just shut.
Koosh would be in like he would be like a beach resort, and a very beautiful woman would come up to him, and she would see him on Instagram, and she would like be really attracted to him because he's a funny and intelligent guy,
And he's a millionaire.
and he's a millionaire, and she
Yeah.
would come up to him, and she'd be like, "Hi, my name's Stacey. It's lovely to meet you," and he'd be like, "I just fucking shit my pants."
Stacy, huh? I hope you like the smell of dried cum because I just bashed one out on my fucking hair. Jesus Christ, get me out of here. it's literally that. He could be sat in Nobu. He could be sat in the pool bar of Nobu in Ibiza. He could have Drake one side, Gordon Ramsay the other. He could have just scored a couple of fucking hoops on the basketball ring, and there's a load of women watching, and he's had his glow up, and he's got his hair looks good. He's got a new nose. Someone goes up to him, he's like, "So what's your name?" He'd be like, "My name's Coot, and I'm fucking huge. If you like pieces of shit." just shut the fuck up.
I just gunned half a litre of piss down my leg.
Some men are just born to not be attractive, and it doesn't matter what the world serves them. It doesn't matter how good looking they get, how much weight they lose, how nice their hairstyle is, how nice their clothes get. They will just say something that makes them a cunt. And my name's Jacob Hawley, and I just...
I suppose the message. I mean, should we watch this last video?
Watch the last
this
one.
kind of
The
sums it up.
last one, it's like, at this point, 5 million followers, Ramsay's number in his phone book, multi-millionaire, he could show the internet anything.
Yeah.
And what does he show them?
He shows them this.
I'm fighting for my life over here. It's one of those shit you jump right into the shower after. Everything off, glasses included. What did I eat?
So he's sat on the toilet, his clothes are on the floor, he's explaining how he's stripped naked to have a shit, and he's nearly dying from it. And it's
I'm fighting.
Respect.
He says, I'm fighting for my life.
I'm fighting for my fucking life. Respect, mate. I'll tell you what. Followers do go to your head. Followers go to your head, right? You know, I've got fuck all really. I've got like 25,000 something like that. But you know, now that I've got more than I used to, there are times where you go, oh yeah, I'm a bit fucking. Oh, look at me. Maybe I'll do a Q&A on Instagram and just tell people what I've had for fucking breakfast. It's like, you boring cunt. No one cares. Be funny, right? Coot has not succumbed to that.
No.
Coot has not succumbed to the glow up. There's no. Hey, here's a video from my holiday. It's him. Clothes off, butt naked, fighting for his life on the toilet. And respect to you, Coot. Respect.
And in a way, him doing a shit and saying he needs a shower right after. I wonder if our podcast is the audio version of that. The kind of podcast where you need a shower straight after, the Moosh one specifically. I guess the message is we love Coot. Coot, big up yourself, mate. You got loads going for you. You're a funny guy. You don't need to be going around like Nanette. You go around in pity for yourself.
But never change. Never change. What we love about you, Coot, is that it doesn't matter how many followers you get, it doesn't matter how big you get, you stay true to the character, and you're fighting for your life on a toilet. Thank you, everyone who listens. God bless the writers, and we'll chat to you soon.
Take care.